Okay, so today, oh my god, today the date is August 29th, and I just spent a ridiculous amount of time doing paperwork, which I did not want to do. But earlier today, I spent a little bit of time like walking in the park, walking in Centennial Park, and it was really good. It was really nice. Um, a thing that I would recommend everyone do, like take walks, go outside. It is really good for you. Like, it's really, really good for you. Don't for a second believe that it isn't. It is. Anyway, so I really like, spending the time at Centennial Park. It's a really nice park over here. Anyway, I wanted to unpack in this voiceover today why everyone is like really concerned right now about about Eminem and Vivek Ramaswamy. And I think this is a take that many people aren't gonna come to. And I was thinking about this on my walk today. First of all, like I saw that Vivek he performed the like Lose Yourself song by Eminem, right? And now Eminem is a rapper, but we'll get into why he's not like just a rapper in a moment. But it's really cool when you see like tech bros who are super interested in like hip hop and the story and the song behind hip hop, because hip hop is and rap really is super influential. It actually does like impact and change a lot of lives. But it's not like, in order to write that kind of music, in order to tell that type of story, you have to have like lived a certain type of life. And like Vivek Ramaswamy just didn't live that type of life. And I think like a lot of people on the right, so basically for context here, what happened is Eminem saw that, so Vivek Ramaswamy is the Indian conservative who's running for office. He's running for like for president on the Republican ticket. And I actually don't know too much about Eminem's political beliefs, but I don't think he doesn't to me seem like a Democrat or a Republican. I feel like he'd probably be like apolitical, if anything, and maybe like anti-poverty, just because his own story of like the reason that Eminem was so powerful for so many people growing up is he gave a voice to a voiceless population. And the reason that that population is voiceless, even though like he's white, so like you can't totally talk about having, how do you say, like, you can't look at Eminem's experience and then degrade or trivialize the fact that there are Americans who are living really rough existences, like Eminem was. And that's what he wrote about. And that's what he made a movie about in 8 Mile, and, the mom spaghetti and all the things, right? Like that story was awful. Like growing up in a trailer home is kind of shitty. Like it sucks. Anyway, so I think that like for me, listening to Eminem as like a youth growing up, it gave a real voice to someone who is like punk rock. And I think Candace Owens said this, and I agree. Well, she was actually saying this about the black Trump supporters. She was calling them like punk rock. The thing about punk rock is it's like alt. You make punk music when you like basically feel like you have been outcast by society. Like society doesn't see your point of view. They don't understand who you are. They don't agree with your identity. They have pushed you to the fringes. And I think a part of this that some people don't see, because some of you guys like just are so far removed from like lily white suburbs and kind of like perfect Americana. Like when people are talking about like people are so boring, they're like a vanilla wafer. Like, don't get me wrong, vanilla wafers are fucking delicious. Like vanilla bean ice cream is really yummy, but there's like other flavors that are good too. Would almost be like the thing about lily white suburbs would be like this idea of, if for your entire life all you ever had was like vanilla ice cream and you never had like mango sorbet, you never had double fudge chocolate ice cream, like nothing. All you ever had was like French vanilla ice cream. to sometimes I go back to this place where I feel like it's probably a good thing to only have ever had like French vanilla ice cream, but it could also be maybe a problem because like other flavors are good too. Anyway, I think that like the reason that Eminem basically filed a lawsuit and told Vivek to stop singing his songs, and clearly it's because it was offensive to him in some way. So something about Vivek singing his songs has caused like Eminem to like, because Eminem doesn't really, I don't ever hear him come out and say anything. He usually just like pops up at some rap show or something and he'll say some things, but it's another reason. And I've made actually content about this before, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand the real significance of there's a live performance that Jay-Z and Eminem did for a song called Renegade. And the thing about Renegade that was so nutty, like Renegade told a story of two underdogs who had been like looked down on by society. And if you go, I'll put the live performance to it in the description box. But at that time, Puff Daddy was like the one black billionaire, or he wasn't even a billionaire yet. He was just like a millionaire. He was just like a really rich black guy. He's super New York, but in all the corporate spaces, like I think he had, Combs or whatever one of his clothing lines was really popular. But he was like kind of the only black person in the room. This is why, man, representation, it just matters. And all of us, he's on the rooftop and Jay-Z and Eminem are the performers. They're on the stage. So when you really think about the context of this, like Jay-Z and Eminem were still on the come up. Like Puffy had already made it. He was in the crowd at this point, just clapping along, like supporting the new guys. It's kind of like if you were to watch like Nicki Minaj supporting Tyla or something right now. It's like, obviously, like Tyla's still on the come up, but like Nicki Minaj just like totally made it. Anyway, so he's in the crowd. He's trying to understand. He's like, he had never heard the song before. You can tell because he doesn't know any of the lyrics, and he like in his face, he just looks so fucking perplexed. He like doesn't know what the fuck is happening. And these two dudes who are like they're so urban and they've had like such tumultuous lives, you know what I'm saying? And like they come on and they're just like spitting their shit, and you see it in Puff Daddy's face. Like he hears the story and it moves him like a fairy tale. It moves him like the way that like Harry Potter moves us. Like that's the way that Jay-Z performance moved Puff Daddy, and it was insane. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. Anyway, so just imagine, like I saw the movie 8 Mile, and if you haven't seen the movie 8 Mile, you might not understand like how rough it was. And I think like people like Vivek Ramaswamy or really other people who are like from India, they always think like because India is so like third world and stuff, like you will see videos of it. Like everyone in India has like co-opted like rap at this point. They're all like rapping about poverty and, because they've like tried to take on the American experience. But what they don't see is all of the otherness. Like Eminem, he like grew up with Dr. Dre. He understood like the tumultuous identity politics and like just like political bullshit that like real like black American people and himself had to deal with in America. And like Indian people, and Vivek Ramaswamy specifically has no fucking idea. Yes, he may have like battled like a class, like how do you say it, like class hopping or climbing socioeconomically up the polls or whatever to get through high school and to get through Harvard or wherever else he went, right? To get to where he is now to be president. But he started multi-million-dollar companies and all these things. Like even if he can like hear Eminem's story and he can hear Eminem's grief, it doesn't really mean he can relate to it and he can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think he can. And it's almost like a mockery of it. That's what I would think it would be. It's like if Eminem were to hear that, he would probably feel like Eminem probably heard that and felt offended. Like I feel offended by it. I think this is another reason why I can't listen to rap with an unknowing ear. Like when I hear a lot of the rappers and the female and male rappers alike who are like, how do you say, it's like they're writing these tragic songs about people dying, women being sledded out and dying, babies being aborted and dying. It's just like story after story of everyone dying. So who lives? After everyone is dead, who lives? No one. That's not a happy story. When you understand the context behind it, it's not a happy story. And when you look at the outside from like what Vivek Ramaswamy is doing, it's offensive because he's doing actually what America does. They love like rapping along with the songs and singing the songs while not living the lives at all. Like all throughout suburban households all over America. They love fucking rap music. They love like co-opting black culture, but at no point in fucking history will they ever have any idea about the identity of most black people. And we have to be clear here because it's most black people. You can't like literally sit there and look at Candace Owens and believe that she's living the same life as like Lotto. You know what I'm saying? But you might consider both of those women black women. Those women are almost from different planets. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not even similar. I don't even know if you could consider them both women. Their lives are so fucking different in terms of their ideology. Like they are so far, far, far away from each other. And I think that's a part of what you guys don't see. It's definitely not only about race. It's not only about race. It's not. But it also is like kind of about like, okay, also let's unpack Eminem for a second and maybe like the trailer home version of America. This is why America and race becomes so fucking complicated. It's so hard to talk about it because it's like if you miss a decade in history and you honestly like don't include it in the story, you're going to have a problem. You're going to miss some context that you desperately needed in order for you to make sense about shit. So like in terms of like Eminem's experience, I don't know if you guys remember, but he wrote a song where it was like how he's like, I've got 60 Christians behind me trying to kill me. Like the lily white suburban Christians and the actual white supremacists, they don't like Eminem either. Like he doesn't support the narrative. I was thinking about this while I was walking home too. So obviously there was like a mass shooting, right? So another white supremacist, he writes a manifesto. He wants to kill black people. He literally goes into the dollar store and he does kill black people. But this guy who did that is actually also not the face of white supremacy. He has the message of white supremacy in the same way that Vivek Ramaswamy right now has the message of hip hop. But if we don't know what hip hop is, he's not hip hop. Like Jay-Z is like hip hop. Puffy is like hip hop. Like Nas is like hip hop. It isn't Vivek Ramaswamy, no matter how many like rap lyrics. Like Eminem is hip hop. Like Vivek Ramaswamy is not. And so it's all, I think it's kind of funny, like as probably real white supremacists like look at what that kid did, and it's just kind of, it's a mockery, right? Because the point of white supremacy is about power and it's about power and fear. Now, what that kid did didn't cause fear in anyone. It probably caused anger and a mild disturbance. Like he killed 3 people, and he killed 3 people at the dollar store. The thing that like white supremacy wants to disturb, white supremacy is coming after people like me. White supremacy is coming after like people like Issa Rae or like Yara Shahidi. White supremacy has to come after Americans who have like rights and who have like a place in the society. A very small place in society is like me, like just a simple little waitress with a phone, but that's still a member of society. Like a part of like hip hop is almost giving a voice to the voiceless. It's like Quavo and Takeoff when they were making Bad and Bougie, right? Back when they were like in the gutter. Those people don't have a voice yet. Those people like weren't really part of society, not yet. They've come so far, and I think that like I saw another video that was talking about. Well, I didn't watch it. I just saw the headline. The headline said this. It was like people are concerned about Quavo after something happened on social media. Now, I saw that Quavo is writing an album that's supposed to be like a dedication to Takeoff dying, right? And that makes so much sense because, like, obviously he would be really sad that, like, his best friend is dead. But all throughout, like, Black society, like, nobody really cares about Black death. Like, it isn't this thing that is actually given time. It's almost like Black people aren't allowed to feel feelings, because when I've seen a lot of news come out in Black media, but I haven't even seen any of the Black content creators talk about the mass shooting that happened. I thought we were supposed to be like a Black community. Wouldn't that be like a pretty big thing? I think it's really important for, like, not everyone can't sit cowering in fear all the time. Everyone has to be in, like, different places of their lives. I agree with that. But also when something like when a targeted issue, when something happens and it like literally targets the community, I do feel like we have to like speak on it. Like, you have to be able to say like, oh yeah, well, they have like come for the community. We have to like do something about it because like this is problematic for like everyone. And it's like, obviously nobody says that. Like, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Anyway, so to go back, Eminem is coming from this part of society where like he isn't valuable either. Like, society doesn't see his value. Right? Like, and I mean, not even as a person. Like, that's the thing that's super scary about the American Christians at points in time. They seem to care. They say all the time, like, oh, we care about life. We value life. We are pro-life. But you go listen to the old Eminem albums, it was very clear. They didn't give a shit about his life. They basically wanted him to die. They have told Black people over and over in this country that they want us to die. Like, not to be, like, super sketch here, but I kind of think, like, if you're really trying to understand the proponents of like white supremacy, I would actually look more to like Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk is like a white African American from South Africa, where there's actual apartheid and they dehumanized Black people for a very long time simply for being Black. That's a real thing that happened. That actually isn't made up. It's a real thing. It's a real experience. And who's battling that? Like, who is explaining how, like, that is not okay? How that is, how that basically is impacting people now. Like, Tyla, for instance, is actually from South Africa. Like, she's from that place. And so that means, like, they looked at Tyla also as, like, not human. And it's like, how does that make me feel? Because I like Tyla. I like Tyla now. Tyla is alive now. Tyla's from South Africa. And so it's very weird when you hear, like, I just read that Elon Musk quote the other day where he was like, he was talking back at the Black people in South Africa or somewhere in Africa where they were like, kill all the whites, like we don't want them here, and they made a little song about it. And it's kind of like, well, I don't understand what everyone expected. Like, why did everyone expect all of the Black people to simply be nice after they encountered all of this hate and all this vitriol for so long? Like, for so fucking long. It was just like hate, Monday hate, Tuesday hate, Wednesday hate, Thursday, like year after year after year. And no one fixed it. Like, no one did anything about it. No one tried to make it better. But everyone was just supposed to accept it forever? Like, who would believe that? I don't know. I guess I was trying to get at Eminem, and I just kind of, I didn't get thrown off, but I just included so many other things because the topic is just so vast. Like, the race and class distinguishing factors here are so fucking important. And I think it's critical that we, like, actually take a listening ear to, like, people like Eminem. Like, he changed everything for so many people. Like, Eminem, he described to you, like, in Words and feelings and situations and contexts and other people, American poverty, American hopelessness in like the 21st century. And we have it on vinyl. We have MTV clips where he told us. We know. We know. We're not confused. Like, we all know. That's the part that's crazy. Like, we all know. We all know. Well, we're entering my like couple of days off, and there's some interesting things that I'm going to talk about because I'm entering the phase where I'm actually probably not going to include any new content on this channel. This channel is becoming a retrospective channel, so we're going to go video by video. It's almost like a review of my old videos that I posted on the channel. Some of them are very problematic. There were some ways and some forms of anger that I felt that were so vile and so mean. And there was a reason that I felt that way. There's a reason that I said what I said. And there's a reason that I did what I did. And I don't feel sorry or bad about it. I'm glad that I did it, and I would do it again because I think it was really important for me to come on camera and to be honest about my feelings and to be honest about my experiences and put it into words and capture it on camera unfiltered, untherapied, and unsupported. Because, like, I am building the community that I didn't have. I'm building the community that I didn't have. Because I almost lost my life, and it didn't have to be that way. And I felt like no one cared, and someone should have cared. And when I look back at that person who I was, I care so much. I care so much. And there's just no reason for me to have been such a target. And so, like, why was I such a target for so many people? I just was like a complete target for all of these other racial groups. And when I think back to it, it was just so unfair. It's so unfair for like Black women to continue to take the hit. Like, we can't take the hit anymore. It is time for Black women to step back. It is time for Black women to just sit down. We have to have a seat because we have to. Because we have to. Like, we actually don't have a choice except to have a seat. Like, having a seat is the thing. And, like, that has to be our current position. And that's hard to, like, live with, I guess, for some people sometimes. But that's real. And it's kind of interesting. Like, I mean, maybe I could have written a little bit more about my feelings about the Eminem situation so that I could vocalize it in a way that would make a little bit more sense. But I'm still glad that I actually came on and just described this on this, one-off whim about how I felt. Because, like, there's this, like, brute honesty to it. And I like to go, I make these videos for myself, right? I like to go back to the videos and watch them and understand, like, how I looked, how I felt, the flaws that I identified, what I could have fixed, what I did fix, what I didn't fix, what I want to fix, how I want to grow. But you can't really start doing that until you, like, see it. You need to see it for yourself. You have to, like, see yourself at your growth point. Like, you have to see yourself at the bottom to realize that there is an up. Otherwise, you'll feel like where you are is, like, an appropriate up when it might not be. And I think you guys would be surprised at the power at just sitting and talking, sitting on some water, sitting by water, you know, putting your feet on the cement and just thinking for a minute. That's what I did today. And it was nice. I had a lot of thoughts. I always have a lot of thoughts, actually, just so many thoughts. And I'm glad that you guys are here so that, like, I can share my thoughts with you. You have become my chosen people for now. And I know some of you will be here and you'll be like, okay, I'm over it, and then you'll leave. Others of you will be like, oh my God, I'm so happy I found it, and you'll stay. Whichever person that you are, you know, congratulations for having passed through, even if you've done that. I have so many feelings, though, about Vivek Ramaswamy and Eminem. Like, why these people are at odds and how I don't even think they see each other's point of view. Like, Vivek is probably such an Eminem stan, like an Eminem fan, like he thinks this is like that's the thing about art that's so crazy. Somebody is going to consume your art and they're going to take it in a way that, like, you didn't expect, because you have no control over it after you put it out. So you have, like, you have this intent where you're like, oh, it's going to be this way. It's going to go this way. I'm going to feel this way when I put it out. But you have no fucking idea. You don't know. You don't know what it's going to be like once you put it out. Once you put it out, it's gone. It's gone. And I feel like what's happening is, like, Eminem is trying to reclaim the art that he's already given away. But, like, why would he feel that way? He already gave it away. He already gave it away.